Hey everyone. You're about to hear a synopsis of the movie Sneakers. Enjoy. Brandon shoots a toy gun pretending it's a real gun. In fact, he's never even been in a real fight because he's a fast runner. The kids at school are always making fun of Brandon because of his tattered shoes. The guy has two friends, Rico, the girl's favorite, and Albert. The dude thinks he's a genius RB and hawks his rims on the street. Dude, nobody wants to buy my rims because they're 1,000. Brando's friends wear Jordans. I wish he had those cool sneakers. No one takes the short guy seriously. Not the girls, not the guys from the neighborhood. At school, he saw his first Jordan model on one of the guys, red and black. The best sneakers he could ever dream of. Brandon stopped into a sneaker store. "Excuse me, do you have a size 7? Quote, "They don't make kid sizes." The brand sneakers that caught his eye cost a whopping $350. At home, the boy found a card with the money his mother had saved for his birthday. He also opened the piggy bank and got a selling chocolate bars to passers-by. After some time, Brandon managed to save up the required amount, but he didn't have time to make it to the store. Some dealer spat out, quote, "You look like Will Smith's son." Quote, "That's so slow, buddy. Check it out, man. Look what I got." Quote. Drill opened the car and showed him the boxes of Nikes. He has a real exclusive here, just what Brandon needs. The boy has finally fulfilled his dream because now he has those very same Jordans on his feet. He can finally throw away his rags. His friends think he stole the sneakers because they cost a fortune. But Brandon said he only paid $150 for the sneakers. The trio broke into the store to steal lemonade. Today, Brandon's life has completely changed. "I need to buy those sneakers. They're cool." Girls suddenly started asking him, "Where did you get those sneakers? I like them." Quote. This girl invited Brandon to a party. This has never happened to him before. His friends give him advice before a first date. "If you want to shave your balls, be careful with the brie. Don't shake it, it hurts." Brandon takes great care of his sneakers. He even eats so that not a drop of urine gets on them. But then on the way home, the schoolboy ran into some thugs. Quote, "Hey bro, do you have any fiber? Where did you get those sneakers? Your mom bought them for you, bro." Quote, "The crowd surrounded Brandon and threw him onto the pavement. The bastards started taunting the kid and filming him. But worst of all, they wanted to take his sneakers. The leader shot Brandon in the head to stop him from resisting. The schoolboy had no choice but to obey. Besides, the flag threatened him with a gun. Finally, the bandits retreated, leaving Brandon lying on the ground in his socks. The sad boy threw his scattered belongings into a backpack and trudged home barefoot. All he had left was the box of his wonderful Jordans. In the morning, his whole body ached. At least his ribs weren't broken. Brandon went outside in his mom's slippers. After all, he'd thrown his old sneakers on the power lines. His friends, to put it mildly, weren't supportive. He didn't have a single bruise on his face, which meant he wasn't even a weakling. The boy decided he'd never be a man if he let anyone do that to him again. First, Brandon attacked Rick, who tried to bully him. Now, he's determined to find that gangster. But Flag is a total thug who constantly robs and beats up school children. The first thing Brandon did was turn to Alberto's brother Trev. "Why the hell does a kid like you want to know where a crazy guy like Flag is?" Trev advised the kid to just forget about the sneakers and save up for new ones. And if he really needed to, he could ask his uncle Marlon. On the basketball court, Brandon saw one of those thugs. "Hey baby, I know you have $1, give me $1, dude." "Leave her alone." Brandon shoplifted flip-flops. He no longer talks to his friends, who don't take him seriously. But now he's going to show them what he's made of. The student grabbed a basketball and threw it at the thug's head. His friends immediately jumped on the kid. They pulled Brandon aside before his head was ripped off. Cat Lady's friends realized he was serious. They went with him to the gangster district of the city to find the flaca. The gangster, meanwhile, gave the stolen Jordans to his son, even though he's still a long way off. Uncle Marlon lives in the same neighborhood as the flaca. He's a truly bad man. He spent a long time in prison and was only recently released. The boys are shaking because they've ended up in the very back of the ghetto. This is where only criminals live. I'm Albert, nice to meet you. You're fat, aren't you? But two thugs recognized and greeted Brandon. Finally, Marlon showed up. He hadn't seen his nephew in a long time, but he wished he hadn't seen these two suckers. Marlon recently had a son. There's a loaded gun lying next to the baby on the bed. Brandon told him he was having problems with the flakka. Do you know what flakka means? Flakka means weakling, he's just a runt just like you. Marlon remembered this flakka had worked for him for a while, but he wouldn't help Brandon. Marlon had once done business with his best friend. The guy had been like a brother to him, but one day he decided to screw him over. Upon learning this, Marlon instantly blew his friend's mind. If his nephew wanted to solve the problem, he had to do it himself. No one pulled the trigger for Marlon. Then some nervous guy burst into the house, taking a dislike to the two kids. He started threatening them with a gun. Brandon took advantage of the confusion and stole his uncle's pistol. Suddenly a shot rang out. The idiot almost killed one of the school children. Where's Brandon? I'm here. I told you to get out of here, kid. Brandon's new friends offered to take him for a ride. They were sure to run into a flakka. Done. Meanwhile, the young father had put his son's sneakers on and taken him to the basketball court. The boys were dropped off at some apartment building where they were promised girls, booze, and other joys of adulthood. Gordo couldn't take his eyes off the sweaty young man. He plucked up his courage and took the girl into the room. And then she took matters into her own hands. Gordo, you better not get pregnant there. Brandon had a blast, but it was time to get to work because he still wants his sneakers back. The school children were taken to a local thug hangout. They were putting on a drift show in their cars. Soon Flakka showed up with his gang and his son Jay. Brandon was having fun until he noticed the thug and his little kid. He immediately ran after Flakka and his son. A brawl broke out between the thugs and Uncle Marlon's friends. During a showdown, one of the gangsters was fatally hit by a car. The entire crowd scattered. Someone started making jokes about and filming the dead loser. Flakka ordered his son to run home. The school children began chasing the boy. Meanwhile, Flakka tracked down and shot Uncle Marlon's friends. Jay returned home and settled down to watch TV. Brandon was determined to break into Flakka's house and get his sneakers back. At any cost, his friends refused to go with him. This was too much by that time. Jay had fallen asleep. Brandon tried to stealthily retrieve his shoes, but the boy suddenly opened his eyes. The friends stood guard and managed to hide. At the last moment when the gangster returned home, Brandon yelled at Jay and even pulled a gun on him. Hearing that Flakka had returned, he asked the boy not to give him away. Quote, "Why are you so quiet? There's someone in the house." Quote. Flakka pulled out a gun and went looking for the stranger. He saw Brandon's curly head, but he couldn't shoot him. The gun was out of bullets. The kid ran out into the street and ran as fast as he could, ignoring his friends in the process. Flakka armed himself with a shotgun and knocked Albert down. He knocked Rick out himself and helped his chubby friend escape satisfied. Brandon put his favorite sneakers back on. Curly was happy, but for some reason his friends weren't. And now they'll shoot us because of your sneakers. Flakka will kill us. The guys trudged home, leaving Brandon alone. He sat on a bench until the early morning and then went to Uncle Marlon to return his gun. That's not how it works. You're a man now. So be a man. You can't just stir up trouble and then run away. A guy got killed by a car because of those sneakers. Another one is in the hospital with bullet wounds. It's better for the kid to go home now, but take the gun with him. He'll still need the weapon. On the train, Brandon saw the guy wearing the exact same sneakers, so the shopkeeper must have cheated him. They weren't exclusive. Flakka took his son to the store and bought him new sneakers to replace the stolen ones. Where are we going to get your sneakers? But we bought new ones, I like them. The little boy will have to punish Verhuga. No one should bully Jay just because he's little. Flakka showed the kid his gun. But Brandon decided to get rid of the weapon and threw the barrel in the trash. He returned to his friends with gifts, condoms for Albert and a bottle of lemonade for Rick. But that wasn't enough for an apology. Rick wasn't ready to forgive him, yet Brandon trudged after his friends anyway. Suddenly the guys saw the gangster in the car and ran for the hills. Flacco jumped out of the car. Little Jay was trying to keep up with him. Brandon realized he had to stop setting his friends up, so he stopped in his tracks. Flacco pointed his gun at him and suddenly got hit in the head with a skateboard. Brandon punched the thug a couple more times and took his gun. He would have happily blown Flag's brains out if the little guy hadn't been staring. Finally, Brandon simply threw the gun. Jay immediately picked it up and stepped aside. He refused to give the gun to his dad. Flag caught up with Brandon, tackled him to the pavement, and brutally beat him. Keep the sneakers. Flacco picked up his son and drove him home. His friends were stunned to see Brandon turned into a slug. They grabbed him and dragged him home. The guys also saw Flacco's face. Brandon fought back. Now he's a real man.